Welcome to both of you. Brian, let me start with you because I thought there was one thing that was very interesting in my notes, and that is your view that Shein and Temu, the two Chinese retailers, are kind of resetting the bar for where a discretionary treat may be. And I assume that means, in terms of price, they're bringing that bar down lower, and that may ripple through the system.
Yeah, I think first, good afternoon, everybody. And yeah, I think there's a chance that if you think about discretionary treats and purchases as a category, that the mix in that category is shifting to lower ring items. And I think Shein and Temu, and then their cousin, which is basically TikTok and the commerce enablement of TikTok, all of those things I think are changing the dynamics of how treats are affordable in the United States and what people expect to pay for a pleasant surprise or discretionary purchase. And I think that ties out really well with shoppers that are being anxious, nervous, or cautious about discretionary purchases.
So it's an interesting thesis, Melissa, there that Brian has. But how big are Shein and Temu, and are they big enough if this phenomenon is true, to move the needle for other retailers?
That's a good question, Tyler. When I think of Shein and Temu, I really think of the apparel space with Shein. And then also Temu is a lot of the things that are kind of commodities that you get on Amazon. So the question is, how much are they pinching Walmart? And will that become more of a factor over time? Something to watch for sure, not so much the case with Home Depot. So Home Depot is kind of in a different category. Tomorrow when it reports, it will be talking more about the interest rate and the pressure on that, more so than the pressure on the consumer.
Well, Brian, why don't we take up where Melissa just left off and talk a little bit about the home stocks, which would be Lowe's and Target. Lowe's and Home Depot. What are you expecting there?
Yeah, I think certainly with Home Depot and Lowe's, they continue to be, and I agree with Melissa that Temu and Shein are not the relevant dynamics for them. They're much more sensitive to interest rates and what's happening in the housing market, which does not appear to be changing dramatically from where it's been. So you had some commentators on earlier in the show that talked about expecting some continued softness, and that's what we would expect to see as well. I think for Target, I think both Target and Walmart might benefit from the fact that their quarter ends in July, as opposed to Amazon, who reported that ends in June, because their Prime Day shopping season is going to be in July. And I think there's a chance you'll see that Target and Walmart, that both had encouraging quarters in terms of how shoppers seem to be responding to their messaging around their equivalent of Prime Day. You might see a little bit of an upside in discretionary spend with them because of the overall impact of basically the middle of July turning into a shopping holiday for Americans these days.
Brian has given us his view on those stocks. What is the street expecting from, let's say, Walmart and Target?
So with Walmart, there's a pretty optimistic take in general on Walmart, and there's a couple of factors. Not only is Walmart better positioned as the nation's largest grocer, so it has more staples, but also it's been making some of its own strategic moves, growing its marketplace, growing its advertising business, some different factors that make it a little bit more resilient even in a tough economy. And it's even introduced a private label that caters a little bit more to both customers who want more of that Trader Joe's fun meal solution and to people who may be looking to an alternative to fast food, because fast food, as we know, has been stubbornly more expensive. And that's why McDonald's has introduced the value meal. They're competing a little bit with Walmart as people might cook more at home. So that is one positive thing working in Walmart's favor. With Target, they lean a little bit more heavily on discretionary, and that may make it a tougher quarter for them as they report next week.